If you trade futures, listen up, you need to be aware of what are called roll dates. So we're going to take a case study here of heading into the date of December 11, 2023. Okay, we're currently trading the December 2023 contract for E-mini S&P 500 futures and E-mini NASDAQ futures. But you can see that the contract will expire on December 15th. And so we want to go ahead and roll the contract ahead of that. Now, what we're going to roll to is the next contract. So that is the month 3, which is March, year 2024. And if you have the contract month symbols memorized, that is the letter H. So it's going to be H24. So we're going to be good with trading the contract March 2024, starting tomorrow, December 11th, 2023, until March 11th, 2023, unless this roll date changes, all right? So that's where we're getting this information. You can get this URL up here. Pause the video if you need for a second and type it in your browser. But this is the fact. And so I'm sitting here after 9 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night, December 10th. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself ready for the roll. So if you're new here, I'm Hema Reddy. I use price, time, and momentum to boost my trading and that of my tribes. Today, though, we're not going to do too much analysis. We're just going to focus on preparing for a contract roll. So here's what I do for that, right? I have this whole set of screens open up, and I have the markets that I look at every morning. And those are the weekly, daily, and 60-minute versions of the current ES contract, as well as the 10-year yield and the VIX. I'm also looking at those every morning right now because of the volatility, because of so many things going on in the markets these days. Now, I'm going to show you a simple way to roll contracts that minimizes confusion, okay? So we're going to have to get away from this December contract, right? That's what the Z symbol is, and move to a March contract. So the easiest way to do that is whatever platform you're on, go ahead and set up a separate workspace and TradeStation or a tab. So I'm going to hit this plus button here. It's going to give me that option. I'm going to bring it back to the left here. And what I'm going to do is first take this chart here. So on a TradeStation PC, it's Control-Shift-C, okay? And then I'm going to Control-Shift-V over on this empty workspace. So I just have a copy of my December chart. Now I'm going to change the symbol here to ESH24 because as I discussed with you, that's what we want to trade. And you might be looking at this and saying, oh my God, Hema, it already has all this data and history. Yes, folks, the E-mini S&P 500 futures market is the most liquid, most highly traded futures contract in the world. So it gets a lot of activity well before the roll date. The thing is, we want to trade per the roll date because we are day traders, we are speculators, we are swing traders, and we just want to go with where the volume and the activity is, okay? So you wait until the roll date. Again, you have that window between the roll date and the expiration date to make your move. All right, now that I have this blank chart, what I'm going to do is just minimize it to the right side of my screen. I'm going to go back and copy that other December chart, Control-Shift-C, Control-Shift-V, and see if there's any analysis that I want to bring over. Now, again, this is an example that will not have too many bells and whistles, but it's a good way to demonstrate the idea. So what I like to do is when I'm rolling contracts, I like to put the new contract on my right and the old contract on the left. And as I explained to my skinny students in depth in their tutorials and more, review sessions, monthly group coaching, and everything else, when you move, when you roll contracts, it's great to kind of delete annotations off your old contract and move them to the new contract. It's kind of like when you move house, okay? If you move a lamp from one place to the other, it's in the new place. It doesn't exist in the old place anymore, right? So right now what I see here are some tools that I have drawn up. These are pertaining to Gann candlesticks, Gann trading patterns, and I'm just going to recreate the same action here. So I have this retracement drawn on the week ending November 17th. I'm going to recreate the same thing here. This has more levels than what I currently have showing, so I'm going to add those in. I'm going to also snap it into place, okay? So I've recreated this tool now on the new contract, so I'm going to delete it from the old contract on this copy of the chart. Now that I have made one edit, I want to go ahead and save this. So I'm going to save this workspace with the name ESH24 Weekly. So in TradeStation, I go to File, Workspace, Save Workspace As, and I'll just type in what I said, ESH24 weekly. All right. So now that I have that in place, I'm going to go ahead and close the old weekly ESZ23. I won't delete it right away. Maybe, want to have it just in case I need to refer back to it. But now I continue moving house, if you will, with the annotations. So as you can see, I only have one left at the old house to bring to the new house. It is a retracement applied to the week ending July 28th. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw it new on the new contract and then delete it from the old. And you just keep moving through that process with your charts until every annotation from your old chart is now on your new chart. You see? That makes it really easy. So I'm going to do this here for the weekly. It's done. Okay. I'm going to delete that old chart, and now I have my weekly chart. Now here's one thing to notice. When you roll contracts, the new contract chart will not have the same price levels necessarily. And that's because contracts trade at a premium or a discount to one another. That's a whole other separate topic to get into, but just keep what in mind what that means, which is you'll have different levels. So how am I going to address this? Well, when I prepare my Skinny in the Mini report, I will come in and I will change the levels and change the dates if I need to. So for example, I'm still going to be looking at the week ending July 28th, right? But perhaps if I want to refer to the midpoint of that level, it'll now be 4700.5 versus whatever it was on the prior weekly chart. All right, so you're getting the hang of this now. So I'm gonna actually do this on my daily chart, which has a lot more annotations. Yep, hold on to your butts, okay? But I'm gonna just talk through fast and do it to it. Daily chart, create new workspace, bring her over here. Copy the chart, Control-Shift-C, paste the chart, Control-Shift-V. Put the new chart that I want to have over to the right. You can also do this by just putting in a new blank chart. So I actually think I'll do that to have better minimal use of annotations. So I'm going to go back to the weekly chart of the new contract, Control-Shift-C. I'm going to go to my new workspace, Control-Shift-V. I'm going to take off these annotations from the weekly and just make it a blank daily chart, okay? So I'm doing this just so that I'm moving from one blank chart to another. It makes it easier to move house. Now I will probably silently, relatively, move all these annotations. You can just pay attention one by one to what I'm doing, okay? Now what I'm doing is I'm changing the default settings for any various colors or anything like that, so then it can translate that back over more easily without having to do so many manual adjustments. See how I just moved to? Okay. Now this larger term fib is so far away, I'm not going to recreate it. I'm just going to delete it. Same thing with this horizontal line. You always have to match the price action and the data of the new contract. So if it means adjusting, if you're moving any other analysis, so be it. Okay, you're not copying and pasting everything over. You're just taking the same idea of analysis and applying it where you want. Some of the levels, some of the analysis will be too old. It won't be worth moving over. Some of it will be worth moving over. Even if you just want it for reference, for memory's sake. Like that guy there, okay? I'm purposely not talking about what the analysis is. I'm just focused on showing you how to move the analysis. Okay, sometimes my TradeStation freezes up. I have to click away and come back. That just happened. I like doing this exercise of taking a lot of the older annotations because it's a good reminder of what the price action has been like. Okay, and then you can decide how far back you want to go. Again, you're going to clean out the old chart, the old house, before you say you've moved into the new house. And yes, I do want to use this last final annotation here. So I'm just going to match the default settings for now. I can always adjust them. See, there you go. All right. House has moved. Everything has been nudged over. Now I can exit out of that old contract. And if I wanted to, I could have done it after the first annotation, but now I'm going to go ahead and save this. File, workspace, save workspace as, and this is daily, ESZ23, oops, ESH24, daily. Okay. And then the same will go for the 60-minute chart. Now they'll have a lot more annotations, and depending on when I last wrote this report, I was out of the office last week, so you can see there was a lot of chop, but I will have to update that. The main thing I may want to translate are any short-term trend lines, but I'm going to evaluate those fresh. So what I have now here is the new contract, bones of analysis that I really wanted to look at. And now I can go ahead and pull these numbers and pull this data. So I hope you can see how if you treat your updating of your charts for contract roll as moving out of one house and into another, it just makes the job a lot easier. I'm on a big screen here. This screen you see me on is a 23-inch screen. Okay, it's connected to my laptop, which is a 17-inch screen. So it allows me more real estate. If you do it on a small screen, it might be a little bit more challenging, but it's still doable. All right, so I'm going to continue on my own for the 60-minute chart, and to get the E-mini chart ready, I'm going to rinse and repeat this process for the NASDAQ futures and be ready to send a fresh contract roll report to any full skinny members first thing on the roll date. Now, if you got value out of this video, please go ahead and punch that subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and give it a like and leave a comment for me down below. I will personally review them and reply. Catch you on the inside.